Richards folded his hands and waited. You've been slated as a contestant on The Running Man, Mr. Richards. It's one of our biggest shows. It's the most lucrative and dangerous for the men involved. I've got your final consent form here on my desk. I've no doubt that you'll sign it. But first, I want to tell you why you've been selected, and I want you to understand fully what you're getting into. Richard said nothing. Killian pulled a dossier onto the virgin surface of his desk blotter. Richard saw that it had his name typed on it, the front. Killian flipped it open. Benjamin Stewart Richards, age 28, born August 8th, 1997, city of Harding. Attended South City Manual Trades from September of 2011 until December of 2013. Suspended twice for failure to respect authority. I believe you kicked the assistant principal in the upper thigh once while his back was turned. Crap, Richard said. I kicked him in the ass. Killian nodded. However you say, Mr. Richards, you married Sheila Richards, née Gordon, at the age of 16, old-style lifetime contract. Rebel all the way, huh? No union affiliation due to your refusal to sign the union oath of fealty and the wage control articles. I believe that you referred to area governor Johnsbury as a cornholing son of a bitch. Yes, Richard said. Your work record has been spotty, and you've been fired, a total of 6 times for such things as insubordination, insulting superiors, and abusive criticism of authority. Richard shrugged. In short, you are regarded as anti-authoritarian and antisocial. You're a deviant who has been intelligent enough to stay out of prison and serious trouble with the government, and you're not hooked on anything. A staff psychologist reports you saw lesbians, excrement, and a pollutive gas vehicle in various ink blots. He also reports high, unexplained degree of hilarity. He reminded me of a kid I used to know. He liked to hide under the bleachers of the school and whack off. The kid, I mean. I don't know what your doctor likes to do. I see, Killian smiled briefly. White teeth glittered in all that darkness and went back to his folder. You held racial responses outlawed by the Racial Act of 2004. You made several rather violent responses during the word association test. I'm here on violent business, Richard said. To be sure, and yet and here I speak in the latter sense than the game's authority. I speak in the national sense. View these responses with extreme disquiet. Afraid someone might tape a stick of Irish to your ignition system some night? Richards asked, grinning. Killian wet his thumb reflectively and turned to the next sheet. Fortunately for us, you've given a hostage to fortune. Oh my goodness. Fortunately for us, you've given a hostage to fortune, Mr. Richards. You have a daughter named Catherine, 18 months. Was that a mistake? He smiled frostily. Planned, Richard said without rancor. I was working for GA then. Somehow, some of my sperm lived through it. A jest of God, maybe. With the world the way it is, I sometimes think we must have been off our trolley. At any rate, you're here, Killian said, continuing to smile his cold smile. And next Tuesday, you will appear on The Running Man. You've seen the program? Yes. Then you know it's the biggest thing going on Freevee. It's filled with chances for viewer participation, both vicarious and actual. I am executive producer of the program. That's really wonderful, Richard said. The program is one of the surest ways the network has of getting rid of embryo troublemakers such as yourself, Mr. Richards. We've been on for 6 years to date. we've had no survivals. To be brutally honest, we expect to have none. Then you're running a crooked table, Richard said flatly. Killian seemed more amused than horrified. But we're not. You keep forgetting you're an anachronism. An anachronism? Okay. Mr. Richards, people won't be in the bars and hotels and gathering in the cold in front of appliance stores rooting for you to get away. Goodness, no. They want to see you wiped out, and they'll help if they can. The more messy, the better. And there is McCone to contend with. Evan, McCone, and the Hunters. They sound like a neo group, Richard said. McCone never loses, Killian said. Richards grunted. You'll appear live Tuesday night. Subsequent programs will be patched up of tapes, films, and live tricasts programs. Tricasts when possible. We've been known to interrupt scheduled broadcasting when a particularly resourceful contestant is on the verge of reaching his personal Waterloo, shall we say. The rules are simplicity themselves. You and your surviving family will win $100 new for each hour you remain free. We stake you to $4,800 running money on the assumption that you will be able to fox the Hunters for 48 hours. The unspent balance refundable, of course. If you fall before the 48 hours are up, you're given a 12-hour head start. If you last 30 days, you win the grand prize, $1 billion new. Richards threw back his head and laughed. My sentiments exactly, Killian said with a dry smile. Do you have any questions? Just one, Richards said, leaning forward. The traces of humor had vanished from his face completely. How would you like to be the one out there on the run? Killian laughed. He held his belly, and huge mahogany laughter rolled richly into the room. Oh, Mr. Richards, you must excuse me. And he went off into another gal. At last, dabbling his eyes with a large white handkerchief, Killian seemed to get himself under control. You see, not only are you possessed of a sense of humor, Mr. Richards, he choked new laughter down. Please excuse me, you stroked my funny bone. I see I have. Other questions? No. Very good. There will be a staff meeting before the program. If you have any questions develop in that fascinating mind of yours, please hold them until then. Killian pressed a button on his desk. Spare me the cheap snatch, Richard said. I'm married. Killian's eyebrows went up. Are you quite sure? Fidelity is admirable, Mr. Richards, but it's a long time from Friday to Tuesday, and considering the fact that you may never see your wife again, I'm married. Very well. He nodded to the girl in the doorway, and she disappeared. Anything we can do for you, Mr. Richards? You'll have a private suite on the 9th floor, and meal requests will be filled within reason. A good bottle of bourbon, and a telephone so I can call my wife. Oh, no, I'm sorry, Mr. Richards. The bourbon we can do, but once you sign the release form, he pushed it over to Richards along with a pen. You're incommunicado until Tuesday. Would you care to reconsider the girl? No, Richards said, and scrawled his name on the dotted line. But you better make that 2 bottles of bourbon. Certainly, Killian stood and offered his hand again. Richards disregarded it again and walked out. Killian looked after him, and with blank eyes, he was not smiling. So we did 4 sections, and we'll continue tomorrow. Alrighty? Good. Now, I know it's only been a half an hour. It's just been a long day, and I have a few more things I need to do before I get to bed tonight. So,